Hello. Hello.
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon, Judge.
Good afternoon, Judge.
Thank you. We are on the record in the 13th Judicial District, the District Court of Butler County, Kansas. This is our Wednesday, July 5th, 2016 traffic trial docket. Ms. Franco, do you want to interpret?
Yes, Judge. Is there a
interference with the hearing, the audio? Can you hear me all right? Judge?
Yes, I can hear you.
Ok, perfecto. Estamos aquí en la audiencia en la Corte Judicial 18 aquí del Condado de Butler. El día de hoy, la fecha es el 5 de julio, este miércoles, y estamos listos para llamar la lista de casos.
And do we have interpreter for another language with us as well?
Judge, I'm looking for a Swahili interpreter.
That's what I was thinking. We had another. Savannah, do you know about or Ashley, do you know about the Swahili interpreter?
I do not. Let me do some checking.
Which for that matter, I'm not sure that I'm seeing.
Judge, he's at the Sally Port.
Darren, is that on Kitambala?
Yes, it is Kitambala as
Let
well.
me look in his file here.
Thank you.
Well, I show that we confirmed an interpreter for today, so let me reach out to Kim, who scheduled those, and see if she's heard anything more.
While you're doing that, Ashley, can we go ahead or do you need me to wait?
No, you can go ahead.
Right. On our docket today, we will first take up the Reynoso case.
Vamos a tomar el caso de Reynoso.
On the record in 2023, TR 561, State of Kansas versus Arturo V. Reynoso.
Estamos en el caso aquí 2023 CR 561, el estado de Kansas versus Arturo V. Reynoso.
Please announce appearances.
Si
Sure,
pueden
you do.
anunciar sus presencias, por favor.
Jerry here on behalf of the state.
Jerry Gear está de parte de aquí del estado.
Mr. Arturo Valenzuela, I think you're coming up a little bit later in our docket, is it the same gentleman?
Arturo Valenzuela, parece que usted está más, tiene la audiencia más tarde, o es usted el que tiene la audiencia hoy.
Sí, soy yo.
It's me.
Very well. Do you prefer to go by Mr. Valenzuela or Reynoso or both?
¿Cómo prefiere que le llamen? ¿El señor Valenzuela o el señor Reynoso o ambos?
Valenzuela está mejor.
Valenzuela is better.
All right, so Mr. Davis, how does Mr. Valenzuela wish to proceed on speeding 67 and a 55?
Thank you, Your Honor, and may it please the court. I've spoken with the prosecutor, Mr. Regier, about disposition, and we have a disposition for that. So if you want to take that up, I'm spoken with the interpreter and I've spoken with his wife, but we have, in essence, all the elements of an agreement that we would like to reference or refer to the court, Your Honor.
Señor Davis, ¿cómo quiere él declararse estar manejando 67 millas por hora en una zona de 55? Dice el abogado Davis que él y el señor Regier ya están en una posición donde ellos ya llegaron a un acuerdo, que ya hablé yo con la intérprete, también con el acusado y la esposa del acusado, y entonces ya estamos listos para presentar el acuerdo. No sé si el señor Regier quiera mencionar o decir cuál es el acuerdo.
Right. And Mr. Regier, is that correct? You've reached an agreement?
¿Eso es correcto, señor Regier, que han llegado a un acuerdo?
That is, Your Honor. My understanding is that in exchange for a guilty plea to count 2, no valid driver's license, the state is prepared to dismiss count 2, the speeding charge.
Sí, eso es correcto. Llegamos a un acuerdo mientras se hace el intercambio de que él se declara culpable al cargo de no traer licencia de conducir válida. Se le va a desestimar el cargo de estar manejando con alta velocidad.
And Mr. Davis, how does your client wish to plead to count two, driving without a valid license?
Señor
We
Davis,
spoke,
¿cómo desea su cliente declararse en el cuento del cargo número 2 de estar manejando sin una licencia de conducir?
I'm sorry, Ms. Franco. We spoke in your honor, and I told him that he would be found guilty, and so he would plead guilty to that charge, understanding he'd be found guilty to the remaining count.
Ya hablamos sobre eso y hablé eso con mi cliente, que él se va a declarar culpable y él entiende que va a ser culpable de ese cargo.
Mr. Valenzuela, then I would like to hear from you yourself, how you wish to plead to operating a motor vehicle without a valid license in
Señor
Butler County on January 4th, 2023.
Ahora, señor Valenzuela, quiero escuchar de usted cómo desea declararse al cargo de operando un vehículo sin una licencia válida para conducir en el condado de Butler el 4 de enero del 2023.
Culpable.
Guilty.
Is anyone making you enter this guilty plea today by any kind of threat or promise other than your plea agreement?
¿Alguien lo está forzando a usted a meter esta declaración por medio de una amenaza o promesa?
No.
No.
And do you understand that if I accept your plea, there will be no trial and you will not be able to appeal your conviction?
¿Y usted entiende que si yo acepto esta declaración suya, no vamos a movernos hacia un juicio ni tampoco va a poder usted apelar esta convicción? ¿Usted entiende eso?
Sí.
Yes.
And in other words, you're admitting count two, that is, you're admitting that you did drive without a license.
Entonces usted está admitiendo al cargo número 2 de estar conduciendo sin una licencia de conducir válida.
Sí.
Yes.
Do you recall where in Butler County you were operating the motor vehicle on January 4th?
¿Usted se acuerda dónde estaba usted operando ese vehículo el 4 de enero? ¿Dónde en el condado de Butler?
Pues casi llegando a Augusta. No sé exactamente dónde, pero es casi llegando a Augusta.
Close to arriving to Augusta, near the Augusta entrance or borderline.
Your Honor, if I may,
Please.
the ticket indicates the stop occurred at Yorktown and US Highway 54. My understanding is that is on the east side of Andover on US 54, a little ways past Dillon's Marketplace to the east. I believe that would be sufficient for purposes of jurisdiction.
Entonces, su señoría, quería mencionar que aquí en la multa dice que lo pararon ahí cerca del 54, que se llama la ciudad pequeña de Yorktown. Está al este de Andover, de la calle 54, y está pasando la Dillon's que está por ahí. Nada más quería mencionar eso para la jurisdicción.
Could that be correct, Mr. Valenzuela? Maybe you were closer to the entrance to Andover than Augusta?
Eso es correcto, señor Valenzuela. Más bien era a lo mejor Andover que a Augusta, ¿verdad?
Es que ya era de noche y no se veía muy bien.
Honestly, it was nighttime, so I couldn't see very well.
All right. Were you headed west?
¿Usted se dirigía al oeste,
Towards Wichita?
hacia Wichita?
Iba a east, rumbo a Augusta.
I was traveling east towards Augusta.
Well, either way, whether you were coming into Augusta from the west or at Yorktown in Andover, that would have put you squarely in Butler County, giving me jurisdiction.
Bueno, de todas maneras, aunque estuviera usted yendo a Augusta o estuviera en Yorktown, usted estaba todavía en el condado de Butler, entonces está en la jurisdicción de esta corte.
So I will accept your plea, sir, and find you guilty of driving without a license.
Entonces voy a aceptar su declaración y lo voy a encontrar culpable de estar manejando sin una licencia de conducir válida.
So, Mr. Regier, pursuant to your plea agreement, what are your sentencing recommendations?
Señor Riviere, hablando sobre el acuerdo que llegaron usted y el abogado, ¿cuál es la sentencia, la recomendación?
Your Honor, pursuant to plea of the state is recommending a $100 fine, $108 in court costs, 120 days underlying sentence, and 6 months of non-reporting probation.
Entonces el Estado está recomendando $100 de multa por ese cargo, $108 para los costos de la corte, 120 días de sentencia y 6 meses de libertad condicional sin tener que reportarse.
Mr. Davis, anything you'd like to say before I pronounce sentence?
Señor
No,
Davis,
Your Honor.
¿alguna cosa que quiera decir antes de la sentencia?
No, and thank you, Your Honor. We hope you would accept the recommendation of the parties. I think the recommendation reflects his lack of overall criminal history in the case. He understands it's a serious matter, Your Honor, and I think that it would be in the public interest to follow the plea agreement. We hope you would do the same, Judge.
No, su señoría, gracias y esperemos que usted pueda aceptar este acuerdo, esta sentencia, porque ya ambos partidos están de acuerdo. Basado también en el historial criminal que tiene, él entiende que esto es serio, entonces creo que se basa en el interés del público que usted acepte esta declaración. Esperemos que así lo haga.
I do follow the plea agreement and at this time assess a $100 fine and $108 in court costs. I will sentence Mr. Valenzuela to 120 days suspended jail sentence.
Entonces voy a aceptar esa declaración, esa sentencia, ese acuerdo. Entonces van a ser $100 de multa, $108 de los costos de la corte. Y también el señor Valenzuela va a tener 120 días suspendidos que no va a tener que servir en la cárcel.
Mr. Valenzuela, the sentence will be suspended, meaning you will not have to serve it, provided for 6 months you successfully complete a non-reporting probation.
Entonces, señor Valenzuela, la sentencia está suspendida de esos 120 días en la cárcel. Usted no va a tener que servir ese tiempo en la cárcel por esos 6 meses, pero eso es mientras usted siga las recomendaciones y siga la libertad constitucional hasta el final de esos 6 meses.
What you must do to be successful on your probation is number 1, do not violate any laws of any kind. And number 2, pay your fines and costs at a time that we will agree upon.
Para que usted tenga éxito en su libertad condicional, usted tiene que hacer 2 cosas. La primera es no violar ningún tipo de ley. Y número 2 es pagar todas las multas que usted debe a la corte en un tiempo que ahorita vamos a poner.
When can you pay the total due of $208, sir?
¿Cuándo puede pagar la cantidad de $208, señor?
Forthwith or within 30 days, Your Honor.
Entre 30 días, su señoría.
I will give you the defendant 30 days from today to pay. And if it is not paid, it will go to collections.
Muy bien, le voy a dar 30 días al acusado para pagar esta cantidad. 30 días desde el día de hoy. Si él no paga, él va a tener, esa cantidad se le va a mandar a colección.
And Mr. Valenzuela, another thing, if you don't pay, it could be a violation of your probation, causing your probation to be revoked and causing you to serve the 120-day jail sentence.
Señor Valenzuela, si usted no paga esa cantidad entre ese tiempo, de esos 30 días, eso sería como una violación de su libertad condicional. Entonces, eso lo que eso puede significar es de que si usted no paga, se puede revocar a esa suspensión de esa sentencia de 120 días y va a tener que servir esos días en la cárcel.
Deja ahí.
Now, one other thing, it also could complicate your situation with the Kansas Department of Motor Vehicles, ultimately making it even harder for you at some point to get a driver's license.
Y otra cosa que puede afectar es que puede complicar su caso cuando usted vaya a arreglar su licencia de conducir en el Departamento de Vehículos del Estado de Texas. Puede complicar todo ese proceso también.
But if you do get the money paid within a 30-day period, then all you have to do is stay out of trouble with the law and you can put this behind you.
Pero si usted paga esa cantidad, dentro de esos 30 días que le dimos, usted no va a tener que presentarse ni hacer nada más se va a tener que asegurar que no está violando ningún tipo de ley aquí en el estado.
Do you have any questions about this for the court, Mr. Valenzuela?
¿Tiene alguna pregunta para la corte, señor Valenzuela?
No, todo está muy claro, gracias.
No, everything's very clear, thank you.
Thank you. And you have Mr. Davis also to answer any further questions should they develop.
Gracias a usted y usted tiene al señor Davis para ayudarlo por si usted tiene alguna pregunta en el futuro.
Okay.
Okay.
Gracias.
And you're welcome, sir. And you can pay online or through the courthouse there in El Dorado.
Okay.
Usted puede pagar en línea o en la corte que está en El Dorado.
Okay.
Okay.
Anything further, Mr. Davis? Mr.
No,
Valenzuela?
ma'am, Your Honor. Thank you very much. And thank you, Ms. Franco. Thank you, Judge.
Anything further, Mr. Regier? Sir, you are muted. Mr. Regier, you're muted. You want to try that again?
Forgive me, Your Honor. Nothing further from the state.
No hay nada más del estado.
Mr. Valenzuela, anything further? One last chance to ask any questions.
Señor Valenzuela, ¿alguna otra cosa?
No, así está bien, gracias.
No, that's fine, thank you.
All right, then we'll be in recess. Mr. Valenzuela is excused. Mr. Davis, if you have no one else on the docket, you're excused, sir.
Thank you very much, Judge.
Y estamos en receso, el señor Valenzuela ya se puede ir.
You may go, Mr. Valenzuela.
Ya se puede ir, señor Valenzuela.
Okay, gracias.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
De nada.
Excuse me, Judge.
Yes, sir.
We do have an interpreter under the name Eugene, so I was going to see if I could get a breakout room with Eugene and Southport 2.
That would be fine. Savannah, can you help them? Eugene and,
Sallyport 2.
yes.
And Your Honor, just so while the breakout room's being done, so they don't get skipped, I also have last name Castro Grasso. His first name is Harriman. And I have Hasso Noriega, first name Juan. I have those two individuals here just in case they get called by the breakout rooms.
All right, thank you. Mr. Moody, is your client available?
He is, Your Honor. He appears via Zoom.
How do you pronounce that? Manriquez?
Felipe Robles Manriquez.
Manriquez. We are on the record in 2023 TR 1090, State of Kansas versus Felipe Robles Manriquez. Please announce appearances.
Estamos aquí en la audiencia en el caso 2023 TR 1090, el estado de Kansas versus Felipe Robles Manriquez. Por favor, anuncien sus presencias.
Jared Regier on behalf of the state.
May it please the court, the appears with counsel Robert Moody, both via Zoom.
Aquí de parte del estado y el señor Manriquez está presente aquí por medio de su abogado Robert Moody y él está presente aquí por medio de Zoom.
Mr. Moody, how does your client wish to proceed today?
Your Honor, we notify the court we have submitted the diversion application. Mr. Robles Manriquez has last Thursday took an evaluation, which they rescheduled for further evaluation for July 13th. And so at this point, Judge, we just request a 30-day continuance so that we can get the evaluation, get that to the diversion coordinator, and hopefully that will take care of this case.
Nada más queremos notificarle a ustedes que ya ha metido su aplicación de desviación. El señor Robles Manríquez tuvo una cita el jueves pasado para hacer una evaluación y dijeron que tenían hasta el 13 de julio. Entonces ahorita nada más queremos continuar este caso para 30 días para poder terminar eso y continuar con el programa de desviación con la coordinadora.
Ashley, when will the next, do you want to put that on a Monday morning for plea and sentencing, Mr. Moody? No, we better leave it on the interpreter docket.
Our next interpreter, we have a couple spots left on August the 2nd. Otherwise, then it's September 6th or then November.
Mr. Moody, will August 2nd work at 1:30?
August 2nd at 1:30 will work here, Judge.
Mr. Regier, will that work for you?
No objection from the state, Your Honor.
All right. All right.
El 2 de agosto a la 1:30 de la tarde y no hay ninguna objeción de ningún partido.
So the matter is continued at the defendant's request for August 2nd at 1:30.
Entonces, este caso está continuado el 2 de agosto a la 1:30 de la tarde.
Although, Mr. Moody, if your client has completed his diversion by then, you won't have to appear.
Pero señor Moody, si su cliente ha completado el programa de desviación para esa fecha, ustedes no se tienen que presentar.
Anything further, Mr. Moody, from the defense?
Nothing from the defense. Thank you, Your Honor.
You're
Ninguna
welcome.
de parte de la defensa. Gracias, su señoría.
Mr. Regier, anything further from the state?
From the state's perspective, Your Honor.
Nada de parte del Estado, su señoría.
Then we will be in recess on this matter, and Mr. Robles and Mr. Moody are excused. You may go.
Y estamos en receso a este caso y el señor Robles que se puede ir y el señor Moody también.
Okay. And we can't bring out Mr. Castro.
I have a question on one from this morning.
Okay,
On Vernon Harris Jr., 23 TR 442. We had him down as a fail to appear and ordered a bench warrant, but then the girls informed me a diversion agreement was filed right after lunch.
okay. Well, Mr. Regier, can we go on the record on that for just a moment? It
Your Honor,
is-
I appear to be experiencing certain technical difficulties and regarding this particular case. If the court is prepared to go on the record, I will do the best I can.
Or we can do it later in the docket after you've had a chance to check into it if you wish.
That would be my preference, Your Honor.
If you'd remind me of that again, Ashley, we can take that up on the record. In the meantime, I understand Mr. Castro is at the Sally Port. Did he say Mr. Noriego is as well? Yes, he did. The two pro se's that I can take up right now. That's the way it works. Who is here on an iPad? What's your name, please?
¿Quién está aquí presente en el iPad? Si pueden, por favor, decirnos quién es.
Jesús Arámbula.
Jesús Arámbula.
There's Mr. Jarrett. You want to take up your case, Mr. Jarrett?
Yes, Mr. Arambula is my client, Your Honor.
All right, we'll be on the record now in 2023 TR 290, State of Kansas versus Jesus Antonio Arambula.
Estamos ahora en el caso 2023 TR290, el estado de Kansas versus Jesús Antonio Arámbula.
Please announce appearances.
Por favor, preséntense.
Jerry Regier on behalf of the state.
Jerry
Mr.
Regier de parte del estado.
Mr. Arambula appears via Zoom, Counsel Jeff Jarrett.
El señor Arámbula está presente aquí por medio de Zoom y su abogado también está aquí, Jeff Jarrett.
How does your client wish to proceed, Mr. Jarrett?
¿Cómo desea su cliente declararse o proceder, señor Jarrett?
Your Honor, we've reached a tentative agreement with state concerning plea resolution. It requires that my client obtain his driver's license, which he is on the cusp of doing. He has a plan to do that. I spoke with the prosecutor and the prosecutor's assistant. She indicated that the state does not have an objection to a continuance.
Llegamos a un acuerdo, yo y la fiscalía, de que podemos llegar a una solución más bien, donde se le va a requerir a mi cliente a obtener su licencia de conducir. Él ya tiene planes para hacer eso, entonces nada más queremos nosotros proceder a otra audiencia, continuar esta audiencia otro día para que le dé la oportunidad de hacer eso.
Mr. Regier, would it be reasonable to set this over to August 2nd, 1:30?
Permiso, ok.
¿Está bien si
objection.
movemos esa fecha el 2 de agosto a la 1:30?
No objection from the state to the proposed continuance, Your Honor.
No hay ninguna objeción de parte del Estado para esa continuación.
And Ashley, is that date still available?
Yes, this probably should be the last one we put on it though.
Esa fecha sigue disponible, pero va a ser el último.
And Mr. Jarrett, is it available for you on your docket?
Well, Your Honor, unfortunately, my client will not. We have documentation from the state reflecting the reinstatement of his driving privilege, and it will not be accomplished by August 2nd. So I'm afraid that we would only be asking for another continuance in that event.
All right.
Desafortunadamente no va a darle tiempo suficiente a mi cliente para poder restablecer su licencia de conducir, entonces vamos a tener que poner otra fecha más después que el 2 de agosto.
Ashley, did you say we do not have a September available?
Yes, we have a couple spots left in September, and then it jumps to November. September the 6th.
Let's see if that's available with Mr. Jarrett.
Your Honor, I know it's a big ask. My client is going to be reinstated on the 11th day of September. Is it possible to make that date? I'm so sorry.
No, I wasn't processing. Okay, so you need something after September 11th?
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay.
November the 1st.
Out of curiosity, what happened to October? Is it full?
That's jury trial that week.
November the 1st? Is that what you said, Ashley?
Yes.
November 1st at 1:30, council?
Yes, Your Honor.
El 1 de noviembre a la 1:30 de la tarde.
All right, so we will reappear on this matter November 1st at 1:30, and Mr. Ambula will be expected to be here at that time with council.
Vamos a continuar este caso el 1 de noviembre a la 1:30. El señor Arámbula va a tener que estar presente aquí ese día.
Sí.
Yes.
Okay, if there's nothing further, we'll be in recess on Arambula, and Mr. Arambula and Mr. Jarrett will be excused.
Muy bien,
Thank you.
si es todo, estamos en receso en este caso y el señor Arámbula y el señor Jerry ya se pueden ir.
Gracias.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Thank you
De nada.
both.
Judge, I have a quick question for you.
Yes.
I have a long list of cases here, but it looks like the ones that were mentioned at Sallyport, I didn't have them on my list. I actually had other ones. Is there a way that I can check if the other ones were continued or if they're still on the docket for today?
Sure.
Okay, I have 2023 TR 1282. And then I have 2022 TR 4218.
Okay, can you say those again, Ms. Franco? You had 12, what was the first one you had?
2023 TR 1282. And then 2022 TR 4218.
4218.
Yes.
All right, we might have the, have Ashley look at those. I'll try to, Ashley, if you want to find the 1282, I'll look up the other one. How's that?
Any of those letters?
Any letters then?
I don't know, see, I would know.
Hmm.
1282 entered a diversion agreement.
Okay. Thank
And
you.
4218 I do show still on the schedule.
Okay. Thank you.
You're welcome. But also on 4218, I just looked and it looks like they paid today and they were a pair up here.
Oh. Mr. Regier, if you get a chance to look up that Harris from this morning, just let me know when you're ready to take that up.
Your Honor, may I have leave to go off mic and off camera briefly?
Yes, certainly.
Your Honor,
Yes, sir.
I believe I am in a position to take up the Harris matter at this time.
Let's do that. We'll be on the record now in 2023 TR 442, State of Kansas versus Vernon Harris Jr. Mr. Jeff Regier appearing for the state. Mr. Harris still not appearing. This matter came on for hearing at the 9 o'clock docket. Defendant did fail to appear. Consequently, the state did issue a bond forfeiture bench warrant and set the new bond at $2,000. Mr. Regier, I believe there may be some other announcement from the state at this time.
Your Honor, my understanding is that a diversion agreement was filed in my office after today's hearing. However, as the court has already rightfully indicated, the defendant did fail to appear, at which time the diversion agreement had not been filed. And my understanding is that the defendant was not excused, as far as I understand, prior to the hearing. So with that in mind, the state's position would be that the court's prior order should stay in place. However, if the court does determine that alternative orders are appropriate, my office will of course abide by those orders.
When did he turn in his diversion agreement, before or after the conclusion of the hearing?
Your Honor, I am not 100% sure on that. To the best of my knowledge, the diversion agreement was filed with the court shortly after this morning's docket.
Well, normally, as council knows, if the county attorney doesn't tell them not to appear, I do issue a warrant. But in this case, I think confusion could be legitimate. And I will at this time withdraw the bench warrant and the bond forfeiture, allowing the defendant to proceed on his diversion so long as he successfully complies. So again, bench warrant, bond forfeiture set aside, and the matter deferred for diversion. Thank
Very
you. We'll be in recess on the Harris matter at this time. We'll be in a brief recess until Mr. Patterson and his next client reappear. We have Mr. Patterson back. We have no defendant and no Swahili interpreter yet.
We have my client sitting there. Eugene may have dropped out of the meeting and will have to sign back in.
Okay.
There he is.
We are now on the record in 2023 TR 30, State of Kansas versus Faraji Kitambala.
Anasema tuko tunaanzisha kesi ya mwaka 2022 ya Faraja Kitambala.
The state is represented by Assistant County Attorney Jared Regier, and the defendant is in person and with counsel Darren Patterson.
Anasema kwa hakimu pamoja na waya wako.
Your Honor, I have spoke to my client and I would announce at this time he would enter plea of guilty to failure to have liability insurance. I believe the state in return would dismiss the speeding. If I'm not overstepping my bounds, Mr. Regier.
Anasema ameongea na wewe kuhusu kosa lako na umesema utakubali kosa. Kwa hiyo anamwambia jinsi mlivyoongea.
Is that your agreement, Mr. Aguirre?
Your Honor, I don't know. I don't believe I spoke with Mr. Patterson on this case, but I don't believe the state would have any objection to that particular disposition.
Anasema naye hajaongea na wewe, lakini anasema anakubaliana na maamuzi yako ya lawyer wako na wewe mlipokubaliana. Kwa hiyo anasema naye anakubali. Mwendesha mashtaka naye anakubali.
Mr. Kitambala, how do you plead then to count 1, driving a vehicle without liability insurance?
Anasema kutokana na hilo kosa la kuendesha bila insurance ambalo ni kosa la kwanza, unakubali kosa?
Yeah.
He said he plead guilty, yes.
Is anyone making you enter this plea of guilty, Mr. Kitambala, or are you doing it freely of your own will?
Anasema yote nakulazimisha ukubali kosa au unakubali kosa wewe mwenyewe kwa kukubali?
Nimekubali peke yangu.
He said he plead guilty by himself. Nobody forced him to do that.
You understand that if you would continue with this plea, you will not have a trial and you will not be able to appeal your conviction.
Anasema kwa kukubali kosa, unajua hatuwezi tena kurudi nyuma tukaenda kwa wazee wa baraza kwa sababu kosa limeshakubaliwa. Unagundua hicho kitu?
Ndio.
Yes.
And did this driving occur on December 31st of 2022?
Anasema ulikuwa unaendesha hili gari siku ya mwezi wa 12 mwaka 2022?
Ndio.
Yes, Your Honor, I say.
And do you remember where you were when the officer stopped you?
Anasema unakumbuka mlikuwa wapi wakati polisi anakusimamisha?
Sikumbuki ilikuwa ni maeneo lakini kwa sijatembea mbali sana na Wichita.
Yeah, he said he don't remember, but he was not too far away from Wichita. He was going Wichita to Kansas City.
From Kansas City to Wichita?
Kutoka Wichita kwenda Kansas City.
He said Wichita, he was living Wichita and go to Kansas City.
Okay.
But he was far away from the border line of Wichita.
Okay. And were you out on the Kansas Turnpike, also known as I-35 Highway, Interstate 35.
Anasema ulikuwa kwenye hiyo njia ya highway ya 154.
Ndio.
Yes.
And Mr. Regier, you showed that mile marker with inside of Butler County.
Anasema ulikuwa umeshaingia kwenye sehemu ya.
Your Honor.
Yes, sir.
With all due respect, I'm currently experiencing technical difficulties, and so I am not able to confirm that based off the information I have in front of me. I might respectfully request this matter be set over one time for purposes of proceeding to final disposition. But on the other hand, if the defendant is pleading to no proof of insurance and the court is prepared to proceed along those lines, I believe I can make a recommendation.
Well, the citation shows it was on I-35 North 57 and mile markers 54.4 to 96.6 are within Butler County. So I don't think there's any question, but that I had jurisdiction and we could proceed.
Anasema anamweleza sehemu ulipokuwepo ni I-54 na karibia na Butler, kwa hiyo wanajaribu kuangalia kama unaweza ukawa Butler au ukawa upande wa Wichita.
I will accept the plea and find the defendant guilty and dismiss the speeding charge.
Anasema anapata na makosa, kwa hiyo anafuta kosa la speed.
Recommendations for sentencing, Mr. Regier?
Anamuuliza kama na swali lolote kabla haja sentence.
Your Honor, I might respectfully inquire first if count one is charged as a Class B. I am experiencing numerous technical difficulties this afternoon.
I show count one as speeding 93 and a 75 infraction, and count two liability insurance, a Class B non-person misdemeanor.
Thank you, Your Honor. Under those circumstances, the state would recommend for count two, no proof of insurance, a $300 fine, $108 in court costs, 120-day underlying sentence, and 6 months of non-reporting probation.
Amesema anakubaliana na kutoa maamuzi ya sentence. Anasema utakuwa $300, alafu vile miezi 6 unakuwa ulipoti kwa probation officer, na wanafuta kosa moja la speed, wanakuchaji na kosa moja la insurance.
Mr. Patterson, anything further before sentence is pronounced?
Anasema una kitu chochote cha kuongeza kabla hajatoa sentence yoyote?
We ask the court to adopt the state's recommendation.
At this time, I do follow the recommendations and impose a $300 fine and $108 in court costs for a total due of $408. And I assess a 120-day suspended jail sentence.
Anasema anafuta makosa ya kwenda jela siku 120, anakuchaji na hiyo pesa na kuweka ndani ya kutokuwa na ripoti ndani ya miezi 12. Miezi 6.
Mr. Kitambala, you will not have to serve your jail sentence as long as for 6 months you do not violate any laws and you get the total of 408 paid in a time that we can agree upon.
Anasema katika ndani ya miezi 6 natakiwa usifanye kosa lolote, alafu ulipe na hiyo pesa, kesi itakuwa imeisha. Lakini ukifanya kosa unakuwa unarudi tena mahakamani, wanaweza wakarudisha hiyo kifungo ambacho wamekifuta.
How much time would you need to pay the 408, or are you able to pay it today, sir?
Anasema utakuwa how much? 180?
408, 400, no, wait. Let me see. The total due is 408, 408.
Anasema unataka muda gani ya kulipa hiyo 480? Ukilipa hiyo 480 watakuachia, kila kitu kinakuwa kimeisha.
480 kulipwa, sitailipa kwa wakati mmoja.
He said you don't gonna be able to pay in one time. Anakuuliza utakuwa na muda gani wa kulipa. Ni 6.
I'm sorry, I don't understand. How long does he need to pay it?
Anasema unataka waigawanye mara ngapi, itakutumia muda gani kulipa. Haina maneno. Shindwa unaweza kaomba wakati mwingine wa kuongezea.
Miezi 6 nitakuwa nimemaliza kuilipa.
It's 6 months.
He needs the full 6 months. All right.
Yeah.
I am going to give him 6 months from today to have it paid.
Anasema anakupa,
or it will go to collections.
kama usipolipa itaenda kwa hao na watakao kusanya pesa.
And I'm going to waive attorney fees, Mr. Regier.
Na anasema anakutolea nani huyo msaidizi wa kusaidia kesi yako mwendesha mashtaka.
Very good, Your Honor.
And you can make your payments, Mr. Kittenbala, there at the courthouse where you are now.
Anasema unaweza ukalipa hiyo sehemu kwenye koti ulioko sasa hivi.
You can either pay those in person or you can mail your payments to the address of the building.
Anasema unaweza ukalipa au ukawatumia kwa hiyo address yao kwa kutumia njia ya post.
Or you can make your payments online at paykScourts.com.
Na anasema unaweza ukalipa kwa kutumia online as.com.
Oh.
Is that okay?
All right. Anything further, counsel, that we need to address?
Anasema kuna kitu kingine chochote cha kuongeza?
Nothing from the state's perspective, Your Honor.
Your Honor, I was going to have Mr. Kittenbala come across the street to my office and write down his email address.
Na anasema atakufanya uende kwenye ofisi yake ambayo iko inaangaliana na koti ili uweze kumwandikia akupatie hizo information zote na email.
And I will order that you do that, Mr. Kittenbala.
Na anasema hata jaji anasema ya uende ufanye hivyo.
And
okay.
Do we have any court security around there who could kind of point it to him where my office is?
Anasema pale atakusaidia kuonesha na niko wapi.
Darren, we do have an email on file for him that I could send you that we got when he was in the office.
Okay. That would work then. Thank you.
So you don't need him to come over?
Not if I have an email address, Judge. That's all I needed.
Okay.
Anasema ameipata hiyo email address za kukupa.
Usiendi tena kwenye ofisi yake.
Ya atakupa sasa hivi.
If there's nothing further, Mr. Kittenbala is excused. And Ashley, do we have the full name of the interpreter and how to get a hold of him?
Eugene Makupa.
Let's see if Ashley has that. Okay, so it's Eugene, E-U-G-E-N? No, E-U-G-E-N, is that right?
Yes.
I think that's all set up by Don and Kim, so they would have all of that information.
Okay, they have what they need then. Okay, thank you, sir. Both of you are excused then. We appreciate it.
Well, thank you very much, Your Honor. Thank you.
You're welcome. All right. Now, Mr. Patterson, do you need some time with anyone else, or are you ready to proceed?
Judge, I need to see if I can have a breakout room with Mr. Regier first on the Alberon Mendoza case, and then I'll need a breakout room with Mr. Alberon Mendoza.
Okay. So you want your first breakout room, Mr. Regier?
Yes.
Okay, thank you. Ashley, if you, or Savannah, if you would, please.
Hello? This
Hello.
here? Yeah, this here.
Good afternoon.
Yes, the attorneys are going to speak for just a minute about your case, and then they're going to come talk to you, sir.
Los abogados
Okay.
van a hablar sobre su caso y ahorita vienen a hablar con usted.
Okay. Abogado, ¿no? Oh.
Savannah?
Yep.
Can I get Ms. Franco and Alberto Mendoza in a breakout room?
You got it. Have we lost all of our defendants? Mr. Patterson, has he been able to talk to anyone besides the last one he called for? Do we know? Let me put this another way. Deputy, has he seen anybody at Sallyport 2, Mr. Patterson?
He is not.
Well, this docket's not working very effectively anymore.
I think that both of my guys show, one shows to hire and the other one doesn't say he is represented.
Yeah, I don't think either one of them are represented, but I can't take their cases up because
Yeah.
Mr. Patterson's using the interpreter.
Hmm.
So it's just kind of got us kind of frozen here again. And I hate to try to rush him since he's having to use an interpreter. But I also hate to just sit here and not do anything. Well, now his client is missing. So is the client with Mr. Patterson and the interpreter? Is it Mario Albaran Mendoza that we're waiting on, Ashley?
Yes, I think they're all in a breakout room.
Okay. And he's already spoken with, has Mr. Patterson already spoken to you, Mr. Regier, about this case?
I believe so, Your Honor, and I think we're just waiting for Mr. Patterson to get back at this point.
Okay. Slowly getting there. And Ashley, you said Julian de Jesus Lopez Garcia paid? Is that the one you said paid?
Correct.
Okay. Thank you, thank you.
And forgive me, Your Honor, that was case ending 4218.
It was, yes.
Thank you, Your Honor.
You're welcome. All right, we are on the record now in Butler County District Court, case number 2022 TR 4098, State of Kansas versus Mario Albarrán Mendoza.
Ahora estamos en la audiencia aquí en el condado de Butler, aquí en Kansas, en el caso 2022 TR 4098, el estado de Kansas versus Mario Albarrán Mendoza.
Please announce appearances.
Por favor, preséntense.
Jared Regier on behalf of the state.
Chair Ricker de parte del estado.
Your Honor, Darren Patterson appear on behalf of Mario Albarrán Mendoza, who does appear.
Darren Patterson y de parte de la defensa del señor Mario Albarrán Mendoza, que está presente aquí en persona.
How does your client wish to proceed, Mr. Patterson?
¿Cómo desea que su cliente proceda, señor Patterson?
Your Honor, would announce this time pursuant to plea negotiations, Mr. Albarrán Mendoza will enter a plea of no contest to count 1 and 2. States agreed dismiss count 3. I know that Mr. Regier has been having some computer problems, so for purposes of the factual statement, Your Honor, we would stipulate to the affidavit filed within this case.
Thank you.
Entonces, el día de hoy queremos dejarles saber o anunciar la declaración. Yo y el señor Regier con el señor Albarrán Mendoza hemos hablado sobre esa negociación y él se va a estar declarando sin contestación al cargo número 1 y 2 y desestimando el número 3. El señor Regier entiendo que tiene complicaciones de la computadora del internet, entonces nos vamos a basar nosotros simplemente en el affidavit.
Mr. Regier, that is your plea agreement?
Señor Regier, ¿ese es su acuerdo de declaración?
Your Honor, pursuant to plea, I have discussed pleas to counts 1 through 2 in this matter. If the court is prepared to accept counsel's stipulation to a factual basis, I believe I am able at this time to make sufficient recommendations as far as proposed sentencing. If not, I would request that this matter be set over, but again, for that specific purpose, I am prepared to proceed.
Sí, para la declaración, si hablamos sobre desestimar el 1 y el 2, y más bien declarar sin contestación al 1 y al 2 y desestimar el tercero. Entonces, si la corte desea, yo estoy preparado para poder hacer recomendaciones en la sentencia. Si ustedes no están preparados, podemos continuar el caso otro día, pero para el día de hoy yo sí estoy preparado.
What are your recommendations for sentencing, Mr. Regier?
¿Cuáles son sus recomendaciones para la sentencia, señor Regier?
Your Honor, pursuant to plea for count 1, drive while habitual violator, the state's recommendation pursuant to plea is a $200 fine, $180 court costs. I believe Mr. Patterson is the point in this case, so I'll of course defer to the court on the issue of attorney fees. State would further recommend an 8-month underlying sentence, 12 months reporting probation, and a $6 probation fee. For count 2, the fail to have 2 headlamps, that is an infraction. State would recommend the scheduled fine, which I believe would be a $45 fine in this case. I would also request the court make a finding whether or not the journal entry should reflect that the defendant has stipulated that there is a factual basis.
Entonces la declaración, si se declara sin contestación al cargo número 1, de estar manejando como violador habitual, sería una multa de $200 más los costos de la corte que son 108. También como el señor Patterson fue el abogado del señor, el señor Mendoza también va a tener multas. No sé si la corte le quiera dar multas a él para pagar como su abogado. También voy a recomendar 8 meses de una sentencia suspendida, 12 meses de libertad condicional, una multa de $60 si él se tiene que presentar a la libertad condicional. En el cargo número 2, como es una infracción de tráfico, estoy recomendando una multa de $45 y voy a dejar que la corte decida quién termine la entrada del diario, si el defendente tiene una base para poder basarnos en esa entrada del diario.
And Your Honor, if I may.
Yes.
Mr. Regier did state the plea negotiations correctly. And I also told him that we would be asking the court for non-reporting probation for the reason that my client lives or primarily lives in Michigan, works there. His boss is there with him right now that can tell the court about that.
Entonces el señor requiere en las recomendaciones que él acaba de dar, queremos adoptarlas, pero también quería dejarles saber que nosotros estamos pidiendo que le den libertad condicional sin tener que reportarse, ya que él está viviendo en el estado de Michigan y él está trabajando ahí, y también ahí está su jefe para poder declarar y dejarles saber.
Mr. Albaran, Mendoza, how do you plead to count one, driving in Butler County, Kansas on November 26, 2022, after you had been declared an habitual violator?
Al señor Albarán Mendoza, ¿cómo se declaró usted en el cargo número 1? A que estaba manejando el 26 de noviembre del 2022 después de ser declarado un violador habitual. ¿Cómo se declara?
Pues no contestar.
Sin contestación. No contest.
How do you plead to count 2, operating that vehicle with defective headlamps at the same date and time?
En el cargo número 2, ¿cómo se declara operando un vehículo con luces defectuosas ese mismo día?
Guilty. Culpable.
Guilty.
Is anyone making you enter these pleas today by any kind of threats or promises other than your plea agreement?
¿Alguien lo está forzando a usted a meter esta declaración en este acuerdo de declaración?
No.
No.
Do you understand that by entering these pleas, you are giving up your right to appeal your sentence and there will be no trial?
¿Usted entiende que si lo encontramos culpable en este caso, usted no va a tener el derecho de ir a juicio y tampoco de apelar su caso?
Okay. Yes.
Okay.
Sí.
Yes.
Now, I understand that the stipulation is to the affidavit in the court file sworn to by Thomas J. Maloney of the Butler County Sheriff's Office, subscribed to November 28th, 2022.
Yes, Your Honor.
Entonces, bajo mi entendimiento que esta affidavit se hizo con el oficial Thomas Maloney, que es de parte del condado de Butler, aquí en el departamento de policía es el 28 de noviembre del 2022, y el señor Patterson dice que sí.
The condensed version of that is that the defendant was seen, or that the officer observed the defendant driving a vehicle without a headlight. And when he pulled him over, he found out he was revoked as an habitual violator.
El oficial dice aquí, básicamente, como repaso, estaba diciendo que lo paró a usted después de ver que tenía luces defectuosas y notó que su licencia ya estaba revocada porque es un violador habitual.
And the officer saw this on 7th Street in Augusta, Butler County, Kansas, which establishes jurisdiction for the court.
Y el oficial lo vio a usted en la calle 7, aquí en Augusta, Kansas, y también es en el condado de Butler.
I do find the defendant guilty, and I follow the plea agreement, ordering the defendant to pay a $200 fine on count 1, a $45 fine on count 2, and $108 in court costs.
Entonces encuentro al acusado culpable de estos cargos. En el cargo número 1 le ordenó que pague $200, en el cargo número 2 le ordenó que pague $45, más los costos de la corte, que son $108.
The defendant is given a suspended 8-month sentence, which he will not have to serve, provided he pay his fines and costs and not violate any laws for 12 months.
Y también el acusado se le va a asignar 8 meses de sentencia que él no va a tener que servir, al menos de que él no pague los costos de la corte o viole otra ley.
I have heard from his employers who have appeared with the defendant at every hearing, including today,
Escuché del jefe de él, de su empleador, a varias veces que él se presentó aquí en la corte.
the defendant is granted a 12-month non-reporting probation.
Al acusado se le ha dado una libertad condicional sin tener que reportarse en persona.
So, Mr. Elberon Mendoza, that means you are on probation for 12 months from today.
Lo que eso significa, señor Albarán Mendoza, es que usted va a estar en libertad condicional por 12 meses, empezando el día de hoy.
If you violate the law in the next year or fail to pay this money owed, then that probation could be revoked and you could serve your 8 months in the Kansas jail located in Butler County.
Lo que eso significa, señor, es de que usted no debe de violar ningún tipo de ley, debe de pagar también el dinero que le debe la corte, o si no lo hace, se le va a revocar su libertad condicional o esos 8 meses que están suspendidos, los va a tener que servir en la cárcel de Kansas, aquí en el condado de Butler.
Do you have any questions about that, sir?
¿Tiene alguna pregunta sobre eso, señor?
No.
No.
Thank you, Your Honor.
I'm going to waive your attorney fees, which will leave you owing $353. So I need to know how much time you need to pay that.
Entonces también le voy a quitar el costo de abogado, no va a tener que pagarle, va a tener que pagarle a su abogado, pero eso trae el total de todos los cargos, todas las multas de $353. ¿Cuánto tiempo necesita para pagar esta cantidad?
Mañana lo pagan.
I can pay it tomorrow.
All right, well, I'm going to give you 30 days to get that paid, and if you can pay it tomorrow, you can do so. You'll need to pay it online, is that right?
Sí, yes, sí.
He won't be able to pay online until we have a journal entry.
Right. So, but I will give him 30 days to get that paid at the PayKS Courts, paykscourts.com.
Le vamos a dar 30 días para pagar en línea. No va a poder hacerlo mañana, tiene que esperarse hasta que la entrada de diario se pueda escribir. Entonces va a tener que esperar hasta que eso pase y luego puede pagar en el enlace Pay Kansas Courts, que es paykscourts.com.
¿Y cuántos días se tienen que esperar para que entre el enlace?
How long should I wait for the journal entry to be submitted?
Maybe can we get it done in a week, gentlemen? Why don't you try in a week? And then if that doesn't work, give it another week. And if you can't do it within 2 weeks, call the clerk and let them know.
Intente en una semana tratar de pagar. Si en una semana no está listo, intente otra semana. Si después de la segunda semana no sale ahí su caso, llame a la corte para poder hacer su pago.
Ok, está muy bien. Gracias.
Okay,
Thank you, Your Honor. Thank you so much.
Anything else that we need to take up? Anyone?
Your Honor,
Yes, sir.
does the court want the journal entry to reflect that the court accepts the defendant's stipulation of facts?
Yes, please. The stipulation of facts is reflected in the affidavit.
Very good, Your Honor.
Thank you.
La base también va a reflejarse en la entrada de diario.
Okay, if there's nothing further, we are in recess and Mr. Alberon Mendoza is excused at this time, free to go.
Si no hay nada más, estamos en receso y el señor Mario Albarán Mendoza ya se puede ir.
Muchas gracias.
Thank you very much.
Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
De nada.
Have a great day.
Now, Mr. Patterson, is that the last one, or do you have one more?
I do not believe I have one more, but I'll let the court tell me.
I looked at that. I have two more pro se waiting. They are in the Salad Port. That's Castro and Noriega. But I have I think that is the last two. But I'm probably going to be giving you at least one DUI, but you may not be able to. I don't know if you want to try to meet with him today, or if we're not going to be able to take him up again until when, Ashley? If I move these, is it?
Probably November.
Yeah. I may try to stick him in on that September one. Because that's just, that's so far away, and those jury trials, who knows, they usually plead out, but you never know. Anyway, I'm giving you a heads up. I'd see if you could meet him today, but without discovery, it wouldn't be very meaningful, would it?
It would not, Judge, no.
All right, fair enough. Okay, I will then let you go, Mr. Patterson. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Have a good day.
You too. All right, let's have one of the gentlemen from the Sally Port come in, whichever one is closer.
This is Mr. Castro, Herman Castro Greso.
We are on the record in 2023 TR 1548, State of Kansas versus Herman Dario Castro Greso. The state appearing by Jared Regier and the defendant, Mr. Castro Greso, appearing in person and pro se.
Estamos ahora en la grabación del caso 2023 TR 1548. El estado de Kansas versus Germán Darío Castro Grecio. El estado de Kansas está presente aquí por medio del abogado o el fiscal Jared Regier, y el señor Castro Grecio también está presente aquí en persona en Sallyport.
Mr. Castro Grecio, you're charged with one count called operating a motor vehicle without a valid license, a Class B non-person misdemeanor.
Señor Castro Grecio, se le ha puesto a usted un cargo de estar operando un vehículo sin una licencia de conducir válida, que es un delito menor clase B.
If you were to be convicted of this charge, the maximum penalty could be up to 6 months in jail, and the maximum fine could be up to $1,000.
Si lo encuentran culpable, el penal máximo de este cargo es de 6 meses en la cárcel y de hasta $1,000 de multa.
Those are the worst possible penalties, not necessarily what I would normally see or expect.
Eso es lo peor que puede pasar, pero eso no es lo que normalmente veo o normalmente lo que ordeno.
If you could obtain a valid driver's license in the near future and pay fines and costs plus a diversion fee, the state has a program that they might be able to dismiss this charge.
Si usted puede obtener su licencia de conducir en un futuro muy pronto y pagar sus costos de la corte y las multas, usted puede aplicar para un programa de desviación donde se le puede quitar ese cargo de su historial.
This program is called diversion. Do you think you'd be able to get your license and pay those fees anywhere in the near future?
Este programa se llama el programa de desviación, pero usted tiene que obtener su licencia de conducir muy pronto. ¿Usted tiene esa habilidad?
Sí, señor. Tengo licencia colombiana.
Yes, but I have a license from Colombia.
No, Colombia.
Oh. ¿Cómo?
Licencia colombiana. Tengo.
I only have a license from Colombia.
Well, I can, if you think that that would entitle you to drive in Butler County, Kansas, you're welcome to talk to an attorney and see if you have a valid defense to the charge.
Si usted piensa que eso a lo mejor lo puede ayudar a conducir aquí en los Estados Unidos, usted puede hablar con un abogado para ver si eso es buena defensa en su caso y no lo tengan que culpar de algo de un cargo.
Is that your position today, that your license entitled you to drive?
Eso sería-
¿Puedo pedir algo de tiempo?
Can I have some time?
Time for what purpose? To talk to an attorney or what?
¿Tiempo para qué propósito? ¿Para hablar con un abogado?
Sí, para consultar a un abogado.
Yes, to speak to an attorney.
Certainly, I will give you time. Can you afford to hire an attorney or will you need to apply for court appointed?
¿Usted puede pagarle un abogado o quiere un abogado de oficio?
¿Un abogado de oficio? Yo le puedo pagar, sí, claro, yo puedo pagar.
¿Un abogado de oficio o
Puedo
un
pagar
abogado?
yo
Un
puedo
abogado.
pagar- Yo puedo
I'll look,
pagar
okay.
abogado. Ujú.
I'll look for an attorney myself.
Very well. I will set this over to, what's the date in September? Let's squeeze that in there.
September the 6th.
September the 6th at 1:30. You'll need to be back here. And if you're going to have an attorney, that attorney needs to appear with you. This will be by Zoom.
Va a tener que presentarse usted el 6 de septiembre aquí de nuevo. La audiencia va a ser por medio de Zoom. Usted se puede conectar con ese enlace y si va a tener abogado, también que se presente su abogado a esta audiencia.
Has this defendant been processed?
¿Lo han procesado ya?
No,
No.
I'm going to order that he be processed and his bond is set at 1,000 OR.
Voy a ordenar que lo procesen y voy a poner la fianza $1,000.
Where do you live, Mr. Castro Grueso?
¿Dónde vive, señor Castro Grecio?
What
vivo
town?
en la Márquez.
Market?
No, en la Márquez.
¿Márquez?
Sí.
Americas?
906 Márquez.
906 Márquez. ¿En qué ciudad?
Wichita, Kansas.
Wichita. 906 Market Street, Wichita, Kansas.
All right, so that will be my order. He needs to have his picture and prints taken and reappear September 6th at 1:30 with his attorney if he's going to have one.
Muy bien, entonces esa va a ser mi orden, que lo procesen. Lo que eso significa es que le tomen su foto y sus huellas y esté de regreso el 6 de septiembre a la 1:30 con su abogado.
If you decide you cannot afford an attorney and wish to apply for court appointed, make sure you get an application and fill it out there at the courthouse.
Si usted decide que usted no puede pagarle a un abogado, no tiene dinero para pagarle a un abogado, antes de irse puede aplicar ahí en la corte para un abogado de oficio.
Anything further?
¿Alguna otra cosa?
No, señorita.
No, ma'am.
Thank you. Mr.
Okay,
Regier, anything from the state?
Nothing from the state's perspective, Your Honor.
Nada de parte del Estado, su señoría.
We are in recess then, and Mr. Castro Greso is excused to get his appointment for picture and prints.
Muy bien, entonces.
I'll probably need Miss Franco to.
Yes. Have him wait, and then I'll have her do both of these. The other one needs done also, or not?
The other one does not.
Okay. Let's have him wait just a bit, and then we'll take that up. Don't let me forget, if you would, please. All right, you're excused for now, sir.
Ya se puede ir, señor, por ahorita y ahorita le interpreto para su cita de huellas.
We are now on the record in 2023 TR 2027, State of Kansas versus Juan Manuel Paso Noriego. The state appearing by and through Jared Regier and the defendant appearing in person and pro se.
Sorry, Judge, what was his last name?
Well, I don't know if it's Paso Noriego or just Noriega.
¿Cuál es su apellido? Casa Noriega.
Caso Noriega.
Caso Noriega. Okay. Ok, estamos en la grabación.
S-O. Caso.
Is it
Estamos
pronounced
aquí. Caso
Paso?
Noriega.
Okay.
Estamos aquí en la grabación en el caso 2023 TR 2027, el estado de Kansas versus Juan Manuel Caso Noriega. Ahí está presente aquí la fiscalía por el señor Jared Regier.
Mr. Hasso Noriega, you are charged with one count of driving under the influence of drugs or alcohol in Butler County, Kansas, on or about June 4th, 2023.
Señor Caso Noriega, se le ha puesto un cargo de estar manejando bajo la influencia de alcohol aquí en el condado de Butler el 4 de junio del 2023.
The state is claiming that while you were operating a motor vehicle on that date, you had a blood or breath alcohol concentration of 0.39 when the legal limit is 0.08.
El estado está diciendo que usted estaba operando un vehículo ese día y le tomaron a usted un examen donde usted tuvo, no sé si fue de sangre o de aliento, donde salió el resultado de 0.39 el nivel de alcohol y lo legal es 0.08.
Or at least within 3 hours of operating, it was 0.139.
Bueno, al menos 3 horas antes de operar el vehículo estaba a 0.39.
Or in yet another alternative, if not that, you were at least under a combination of alcohol and or drugs to a degree that you were incapable of safely driving a vehicle.
O si no, usted estaba usando la combinación de droga o de alcohol, donde a usted no se le veía capaz de manejar un vehículo de una manera segura.
This charge, called driving under the influence, is a Class B non-person misdemeanor.
Este cargo de manejar bajo la influencia es un delito menor clase B.
Which means that if you were to be convicted, your fine has to be at least $750, but no more than $1,000.
Lo que eso significa es de que si lo encuentran culpable, la multa va a ser de $750 y no más de $1,000.
And your jail time could be no more than 6 months.
Y el tiempo de cárcel puede ser hasta 6 meses.
You have a number of rights concerning this charge.
¿Tiene usted varios derechos sobre este cargo?
You have the right to hire any attorney of your choice. And if you cannot afford an attorney, you can apply and see if you qualify for a court-appointed attorney.
Usted tiene el derecho de tener un abogado. Si usted no puede pagarle un abogado, usted tiene el derecho de aplicar para un abogado de oficio.
You have the right, if you wish, to waive an attorney and just represent yourself
Tiene
you-
también el derecho, tiene también el derecho de desestimar su derecho de tener un abogado y representarse usted mismo.
Whether or not you hire an attorney, the state has a diversion program that you could see if you qualified for.
Si usted decide sí o no a contratar a un abogado, de todas maneras el Estado ofrece un programa que se llama el programa de desviación, que si usted, usted puede aplicar si usted tiene ciertas calificaciones o ciertos requisitos que requiere ese programa.
This program is offered by the state and the court is not a party to it. It would be between you and the state alone.
Ese programa es ofrecido por medio del Estado, no involucra a la Corte, entonces eso sería entre usted y el Estado. Si usted dice, si usted quiere inscribirse a ese programa.
In other words, between you and the state's attorney, Mr. Regier, or one of his co-workers that represent the state.
En otras palabras, se puede decir que ese programa va a ser entre usted y el señor Regier, porque él representa al Estado, o otra persona que trabaje con él.
Briefly stated, you would probably have to get an alcohol and drug evaluation and follow its recommendations.
También brevemente tendría, en ese programa tendría usted que recibir una evaluación de drogas y de alcohol para poder llenar ese requisito.
You'd probably be ordered to not possess or consume or be around alcohol or illegal drugs.
Probablemente también se le vaya a ordenar que usted no puede consumir ni tampoco estar alrededor de alguien que consume o bebe alcohol.
You probably still have to pay that hefty $750 fine and $108 in court costs, plus a diversion fee of some substantial amount.
Probablemente se le ordenaría todavía pagar esa cantidad de 750 más los costos de la corte 108, más ese costo del programa de desviación que le quitaría ese cargo del historial.
And anything else that you and their office agrees to?
¿Alguna otra cosa que su oficina esté de acuerdo con él?
Buenas tardes.
But the benefit to you would be that ultimately the charges or the charge would be dismissed.
Pero el beneficio para usted en este programa es de que ese cargo sería desestimado.
Now that's just kind of a rough overview. If you want to, like I said, whether or not you have an attorney, if you want to look into that and see if you qualify and it's something you want, I can definitely give you time to do that.
Eso solo es como una explicación o un repaso de ese programa, pero si usted tiene o quiere decidir aplicar por un abogado de oficio o un abogado por su cuenta, lo puede hacer.
What I need to know right now, most of all, is if you intend to hire an attorney, apply for court-appointed attorney, or represent yourself.
Lo que necesito saber ahorita es de que si usted desea sino contratar a un abogado por su cuenta, aplicar para un abogado de oficio o quiere representarse usted mismo.
Ok, bueno, en primer lugar, buena tarde a la juez, al abogado del Estado. Quiero agradecerles el tiempo que me están dando ahorita. Quiero decir, para empezar, que prefiero hacerme acompañar por un abogado que me represente en este caso en otra ocasión.
Good afternoon, first of all, to the judge and also to the state attorney. Thank you. I want to appreciate both of you for your time, for being here and giving me this time for my case. But I do want to ask for time so I can hire an attorney and later on have a hearing with him present.
That's, thank you for your courtesies, and that is what we will do. We'll probably put this on a Monday at 9 o'clock. Ashley?
Muy bien, muy bueno. Gracias por su cortesía y vamos a tener que hacer eso. Lo podemos continuar el caso otro día. A lo mejor va a ser un lunes como a las 9, pero vamos a preguntar cuándo está disponible.
Mi pregunta es ¿para qué fecha sería la siguiente corte? Yo estoy empezando a hablar con mi abogado, tengo que exponerle mi caso y desconozco si mi abogado puede este lunes, pero si me dieran una fecha un poco más adelante, sería más fácil para mí estar aquí en el tiempo como debe ser y cumplir con el estado.
If it's possible for a later date after this Monday, so my attorney has time to be present. So I'm already in contact with them.
Yes. Let's put this on, Ashley, what, you said November? I'm just having a hard time with that.
That's our next interpreter docket, correct?
Wonder if we should try to get an October on the
We
second
could-
one. Is that full already? Have we started it?
I don't know what that looks like.
See if I can take a look at that.
It doesn't look like we have any on in the afternoon on the second Wednesday. Wednesday the 11th.
Oh, the 11th.
Mhm.
How about if you and I just, and Mr. Regier, we just declare the afternoon of October 11th, our next interpreter docket? Do you think we can do that? Rather than make them wait until November?
Yeah, I can get that set up in our schedule.
Let's do that because I think that is so far out if we can avoid it. All right, so Mr. Noriega, how about if we do that? Can we set this at 1:30 on Wednesday, October 11th for you and your attorney?
Entonces vamos a hacer eso, señor Noriega. Vamos a mover su caso al miércoles, el 11 de octubre a la 1:30 de la tarde. ¿Eso está bien?
Está bien, muchas gracias.
That's fine. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Now let's see. Have you had your picture and prints taken in this case?
¿Le han tomado a usted sus huellas y sus fotos para este caso?
Sí, ya fui tomado huellas y fotos.
Yes, I have been. I've already been processed.
All right, so we have that taken care of. We have your plans for an attorney and your court date. Is there anything else for Mr. Regier for the state that we need to address?
Well, Your Honor, I'm somewhat at a disadvantage now, but I'm not sure if the court has set a bond in this case, to be entirely honest.
Okay.
If not, and I would respectfully request some clarification from the court on that one. If not, the state would respectfully suggest 2,000 is a very minimal bond in this amount. I'll defer to the court as to whether it should be cash or surety under the circumstances. In any event, given the charge currently before the court, the state would respectfully suggest as a special condition of bond that the defendant shall have no contact with alcohol during the pendency of this case.
Okay, I think he's on a 1,500 OR, but let me see if I can find a copy of that in the file. You sometimes don't catch up with me in time for court.
And I think some of the bonds are in your e-flex queue, Judge.
Okay. I am showing that this gentleman posted a $1,500 bond on June 4th of 2023, personal recognizance.
Sí, me está enseñando aquí que este señor puso una fianza de $1,500 el 4 de junio del 2023.
Anything further, Mr. Regier?
Your Honor, if the court has confirmed the 1,500 OR bond, the state would still respectfully suggest an appropriate special condition of that bond would be that the defendant shall have no contact with alcohol during the pendency of this case.
También, ya que hay una fianza de $1,500, el Estado está sugiriendo que le hagan una condición a esta fianza, le adhieren una condición a esta fianza de no consumir ningún tipo de alcohol mientras este caso esté pendiente.
And those certainly seem like reasonable terms at this point. So I'll make that special conditions of your bond. That means don't drink alcohol, don't possess alcohol, don't go to bars that primarily serve alcohol or liquor stores. Don't be hanging out with your friends while they're having a beer or something like that.
Entonces, siento que ese término es razonable, entonces lo voy a aceptar. Entonces, no quiero que posee ningún tipo de alcohol, no beba ni compre, ni esté en un bar donde sirvan alcohol, ni vaya a una tienda de alcohol, ni esté con sus amigos si están tomando alcohol.
All right, anything further from you, Mr. Hasso Noriega, excuse me.
Noriega. Bueno,
Yes.
solamente quiero decir que estoy fuera de cualquier tipo de contacto con alcohol y drogas. No consumo drogas. Cometí un error, lo sé, pero estoy fuera de eso. Voy a estar al pendiente para mi siguiente corte. Muchas gracias.
I just want to say that I'm no longer in contact with any type of alcohol. I don't consume any drugs, so that will stay the same. And I'll just be waiting for my next court hearing. Thank you.
You're welcome and very well. You are excused at this time, sir.
Gracias a
Thank you so
usted.
much. Thank you so much, Honor. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
Gracias, intérprete.
Gracias a usted.
All right, I think that concludes our docket. Yes, is that right, Ashley?
That's all I have.
Anyone else? Yes, Deputy?
I actually have.
Yes, yes.
Yeah, I have two things, is one with the scheduling for him and also an issue that if we could just go off of YouTube for split second, just so it's not on the live on YouTube, but I had a question. I have something for you.
Okay, for the court,
Yes,
is it something that I'm required to have an open hearing?
no.
Okay, all right. We will be through with this docket and we will go off of YouTube. But Ms. Franco, if you could stay and help the gentleman we talked about a while ago get his fingerprints taken.